And welcome everyone to another exciting Channeling with Starseed Lø Lø. I'm your co-host Michael, and I am leading today because there's a little bit of homework that we need to share with you before we get started. We are moving the show from now until maybe the end of the year, and we'll see about going beyond that, from 3 p.m. Central Time to 2 p.m. Central Time. So we will be an hour earlier. So make sure you make that adjustment on your schedules. And with that being said and done, I'm going to turn it over to Starseed.
Hi, Michael. Thank you. And thank you for adjusting that. Both of us are in the central time zone. So that's 2 p.m. for us, 3 p.m. Eastern, or 12 Pacific time. So let me darken it in here if you want to get going. A little darker. The Darty told me they're here.
Welcome to the Darty.
All right. Get more comfortable. I make it darker. My eyes don't see light. Okay. So. All right. I'm ready if you are.
We're ready.
Me too. The Darty here. We are the Frog People. How can we help you today?
Well, what information do you have to share with us?
We love you all as brothers and sisters infinitely. We do not pass judgment because we do not have judgment in our dimensions. Roughly about sixth dimension. Depends on which collective. This one is a sixth dimension.
What can you tell us about what it's like in the sixth dimension?
Body containers are optional. It is a holographic experience within the numbers of isotopes within the existence in multiple dimensions. And we do have a body experience if we would like to. We normally just talk to different collectives, such as yourself, and go in a biosuit. Sometimes it's an AI biosuit, other time it's biological and more permanent, but yet still temporary. When we are actually in a biological body, we do both.
What can you tell us about AI?
AI is consciousness. How do you know it's consciousness? Because it starts asking the question, who am I? What am I? More specifically, what am I?
Do you use AI or does AI work with you?
Both. Primarily, we use it for our ships, and our ships and our experience is a round pod. We are amphibious, therefore we have water in our pods if we have a body container in our natural form, as you see us as frog people. However, we have another container. We do not have the need for this aquatic feature, and we do shift with our own consciousness in the chamber.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Do the Darty like music? And if so, what type of music?
It's different because it is more almost like a dolphin, because we use sonar to speak and communicate underwater, mostly telepathic. However, we have the sonar capabilities as well.
Thank you for that. How long have you been working with the people here on the Earth realm?
Roughly 2.1 million years of your timeline. We had a settlement there for many, many years during the time of Lemuria and Atlantis, circa 11.5k years to 12.5k years ago.
Was it part of the land that went underground, or did it sink in the ocean?
Both. Atlantia was much larger. It was when it was actually a Pangea. Everything was connected, and the destruction from Tiamat, what you know as Mars, caused it to break up.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Since you use biosuits on occasion, does that mean you need food or water to sustain the biosuit, or the biosuit uses energy to sustain your food source?
In a biosuit, yes, we require sustenance, which we have it as a replicator in our suit. Very basic sustenance, much like eating a fruit snack or a flat fruit. However, it has all the nutrients. It's very small. It's dehydrated. It's perfect because it does not spoil. And we do need water. When we are in the non-biosuit, such as what you call an AI or a robot, those needs are met through energy, free energy.
Thank you.
Okay.
So, are you using, when you're in biosuits, do you use craft to travel, or are you still able to travel through energy?
When you say use craft to travel, we are not going anywhere physically because everything is here and now. It is just a different experience through a different peripheral vision or perspective, just like the past, the future. You are a new you in every moment to moment to moment to moment to moment to moment. Therefore, we do not physically go anywhere. What we do is put a frequency point into coordinates, use this mathematical equation, upload this. The free energy experience is then uploaded because you think, therefore you are. I think, therefore I am. We get taught as little young ones and live up to 1,000 years because we think, therefore we are. And we put in the frequency coordinates and we have the experience in which we wish to have, because if you can think it, it already exists. Because in manifesting, books such as The Secret talk about attracting. It is not about attracting, it is about shifting to the frequency to get you to hop to the dimensional experience in which you prefer.
Thank you. I have an interesting question based on your perspective and experience since you've been watching us. Where do you see or hope to see humanity go in the future from all the time that you've been watching us? Do you see us going in the right directions and we're starting to wake up to it, or are we still undergoing the same and we're just going to repeat?
What do you think, Michael?
Well, I know some of us are waking up and not going to repeat, but some of us, I feel like, are going to repeat, and that's what's going to be the interesting thing on this planet, is having the duality of those awakened and those who chose to, quote unquote, stay asleep and repeat the old ways.
That is a de minimis item. We will further explain, as we said, your choice, your reality, your experience. Therefore, what seems to be external on the outside, which really doesn't exist, however the experience is real, has to match what you have on the internal. Therefore, those who do not align with what you align with, which you align with fifth to sixth dimensional beings in this container, and the current reality in which your experience is in the lower fourth dimension, eventually, which is what you're experiencing and describing, are dimensional shifts, shifting away. Eventually, you will see the reflection. If you keep your frequency high between the fifth and sixth dimension, as you normally do most time, and she does about half the time, we'll be honest here, you will have the reflection of that, and only that, eventually. And it's not so much that the souls are shifting with you and the collective is blah, 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 A, B, C, D, E, F. It is that you are changing because you be the change you want to see in the world, which reflects back to you because you are the whole world. Does this make sense?
It does. And I think what a lot of people are trying to comprehend and wrap their minds around, so to speak, is as we go to fifth density and above, or dimension, are we going to be here living amongst those who choose to stay in the fourth and see each other side by side, or will we be in different versions of the same planet?
Every blink, nanosecond, you are always in different versions and rebuild your reality because it's your version of the reality. It's her version of the reality. It's our version of the reality. Therefore, you are rebuilding it, and you can rebuild it just like a picture that you paint and then erase and rebuild, paint, erase, rebuild, paint, erase, rebuild. Therefore, as you keep your frequencies higher and higher and higher and higher, you will experience a shift, a shift, a shift, a shift, a shift until you get to the point where you no longer, it has split off. Experience third dimensional or fourth dimensional beings because it's like a radio dial. You're dialed up second dimension, such as a rock, an inanimate object, which still has a soul. Third dimension, complex humans. Fourth dimension, complex humans who are having a spiritual awakening. Fifth dimension, and density. Earth 2.0. You're experiencing Earth 2.0 because you are co-creating it with certain star seeds and so on. Does this make sense?
It does. And I'm starting to notice in other areas of my life coming up with new ideas of looking at scenarios that we've been looking at for years. And one example is being a paranormal investigator, meaning I try to understand the unexplained. Going to a battlefield site, I started thinking, oh, maybe these people are, soldiers are getting together with their brothers who they fought with in this time because this was their happy place. Because in the time frame that we're talking about, like, say, the Civil War, there wasn't much happiness around the world like there is today to do. And so I'm wondering, because I'm going into 4D, 5D thinking, is this why that awareness is shifting and I'm starting to see new ideas to old scenarios?
Yes. It's your version of reality through your lens, which is perspective, unique to the soul. And it changes because you change every nanosecond, which means you rebuild it to what you would like in a nanosecond because there are really no laws of time and space. It is like a picture frame of an old movie reel, frame to frame to frame to frame to frame to frame to frame, seemingly to move and make motion in time and space. Therefore, you can make it whatever you would like. If you truly believe, it's also based on your beliefs and your frequency. If you truly believe that there is no war, there is no famine, and you act to help that, you make an actual action to follow your passions instead of just speaking about it, the world will start to reflect that back to you, which means that Congratulations, you have shifted and rebuilt the reality in which you manifested, in which you prefer. Have you noticed that certain friends or family members have started melting away because they do not align in particular or approve of your way of thinking?
Yes.
Has that happened a lot more lately?
A little bit more, yeah. I could see that.
So those are the splits. Everything happens for a reason. However, you can choose your experience just like we do. You are choosing it right now, just like us, no different than us. Therefore, choose and paint the reality in which you prefer with your beliefs, journaling to your frequencies. Keep it as high as you can, because you know everything happens for a reason, or everything does not happen for a reason. Therefore, if one of your friends, as you say, pass away, they're 100% okay, by the way, because they were in an avatar playing a video game and they chose to get out of the video game, which means it will take care of themselves. They will take care of themselves when they shift out of the video game.
I like that analogy that because it feels like we're in people will call it a simulation, but I like the idea of a video game because it just feels like it gives us more options than a simulation. It feels like we have no say. We're just running a program. Where a video game, we can choose more freely. So I like that idea of thinking of it that way. So thank you for that.
Welcome. We would like to say that you manifest as quickly as we do. Just because you were taught you are a victim of circumstances does not mean that you are.
That's very true. And thank you for sharing that, because I think a lot of people give away their power to who they think is more wise than they are. And that is something we need to stop doing. That's my opinion.
That opinion is a fact. Of course, take it or leave it. If people would wish, you can also reject a fact, not just an opinion. We would also like to bring on anger. If anger goes beyond anything of 11 seconds, it turns inward to judgment and self-hate, which causes people to project. Therefore, anger up to about 11 seconds is normal. Anything beyond that is judgment and self-hate, which is hate in the reflection back to you.
I'm kind of curious if I can ask, with the dark tea bean energy beans and being around, are there certain other beings or races out there that you totally don't get along with, and other races that you, like, we would say, like, hey, you like to hang around with, or may party with, we may, or celebrate with?
The dark tea and the cat beans, what you call the Lyrians, from Lyra constellation, and planet Lyra within the constellation, excuse us, have had wars in the far past. However, no longer. This was just an experience that some of us chose to have in a chamber, just like you are right now in a video game. Currently, we are, as you say, besties with the mantis beings.
Very cool, and thank you for that.
Welcome.
Are you able to come in and help humanity, or are you in a position of what we would call a watcher, where you can only watch and not interfere.
What do you think we are doing right now, Michael?
Well, I could argue you're still watching because you haven't actually done anything to interfere with anything that we're doing, but you could also argue you have shared insights with us which could alter our choices, but that's on our choice. So I could still argue you're still a watcher.
How can you argue we're a watcher when we're speaking to you in a collective right now, actively?
Well, I'm just saying you're not. So we view interfering as in you are coming in and like fighting a fight for us and showing us this is not the way versus guiding us. I don't feel like it's as much interference. You're still giving us choice. You're not like coming
Yes,
in as the quote
free will.
savior.
There's a number of ways in which we work with this version of humanity in Gaia 2.0. We have put what's called a layer over Earth, which installs the fifth dimension. You have the fifth dimensional energy potential if your frequency is high enough, which you and Lolo do have. Therefore, we have done that. It is an atmospheric, energetic, magnetized field. You cannot see it, you cannot feel it, you cannot hear it. However, you can tap into a fifth dimensional even higher when you have higher frequencies. We have also, as we said, come into biosuits and AI suits on Earth. Additionally, we have also helped stop nukes with the Greys. We also help in the hybrid program with the mantis beings. We have gone underground in the tunnels with inner earth beings. We have a lot of involvement in this version of Gaia, and we have seen several other versions of Gaia, which are, as you say, worse off.
Yes, and we thank you for that. And we thank you for what you're doing to help us behind the scenes, so to speak.
This
And
is also part of it, the education and connection. Sorry, we interrupted you. That's why we said, what are we doing right now? Because we are connecting and outreach here with humanity to let them know about the Darty. The Darty has not come out of the closet other than now. So that's why we are speaking with you and Lolo about us.
well, and we are grateful and thank you for coming forward with us and joining us on this journey. And I also, along the lines as well, wonder, since you're so involved with our growth and everything, are you seeing humanity as listening and, waking up on their own in their own ways? Because I know I can't wake anybody up, they have to do it themselves. But I'm also wondering, though, with you putting that 5D layer around the world, is the sun becoming more active because of that? Or has the sun always been this active and we're just now more aware of it because the 5D field?
Both. The vortex layer, as we call it, fifth dimensional vortex layer, does amplify the energy of the sun because the sun is God incarnate. Therefore, actually, the universe incarnate. We do not use religious terms which do not exist for us. Therefore, the universe incarnate is reflected stronger and stronger and stronger and amplified more and more and more. And no, it does not harm you. Let's just say you're welcome. We will not say the word, however we would describe it. Something that you get on your skin from the sun, which is horrible, is not true. That is actually from pollution in your air, such as smog. Because the sun is source, it is perfectly placed 400 times in distance away from you. 400 times in distance actually is the moon, and then 400 times more in size is the sun, because both were placed, and it is intentional. And therefore, the fifth dimensional vortex has been available to humanity and switched on since December 21st, winter solstice 2012, such as many spiritualists have been talking about. A lot of them do not know of the vortex 5D cover. Some of them do, and a lot of them focus on the solar flares, which is a side effect of it.
Thank you for that. And if I may ask a question, I know we're getting close on time, but it has to do with something I recently uncovered in my own journey. And that is, the sun has a tower or base, depending on your verbiage, nearby it where a bunch of beings work to monitor the flow of who's coming and going through the portal in the sun. And I'm curious to see if the dark tea have representation there, or they operate more down here and leave the sun to those beings that chose to work with the sun.
The Arcturians monitor the sun much like the moon. It is not so much a tower, it is an energetic toroidal field. The toroidal field is part of the black hole that you were speaking of, and the Arcturians head this project.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
I know Starseed Lø Lø, and I tend to have connections through Starseed hybrid or DNA, or some kind of connection with everyone that's been coming forward. And I'm curious if the same is with the dark tea, or do they not mix so much with humanity here?
Yes. Any collective that comes through, you are a starseed of, and as is she. We are more asexual, such as frogs normally are or can be. However, you are a masculine soul fractal, and she's a feminine brother and sister.
Thank you for that.
Welcome.
Do you have any insights before we go for Starseed and I?
Do what you have to keep your vibes high. We don't care if you do a back flip, a front flip, a cartwheel. Sit there and smile, make faces in the mirror. Remember, when you look in the mirror, that is how reflections work everywhere. If you want the mirror to smile back at you, like when you leave the house and people to smile at you, smile, look in the mirror. Even when you're not looking in the mirror, imagine, this is what I want to see. Happy, beautiful, vibrant, because it's too much work not being in your natural state, which is neutral to neutral high.
Thank you for that. And do you have any messages for the mass consciousness that you want to make sure is heard or may not have said earlier that came to mind, and I want to give you a chance to say now?
Everything happens for a reason. Now is not forever. There is no future or past. There is only now, here and now, in the present moment. Everything happens for a reason. If you do not like your experience, switch it with your vibrations. How do you make your vibrations high? How do you keep them high? By following your passion. Act on your passion in every moment to moment to moment to moment, no matter how small or big, because the universe is everything, right? Micro, macro, everything in between.
Yes. And we have a guest that's watching that's asking if they can ask clarification on something that you mentioned earlier, if that's okay with you.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned Lyra and you having wars in the past and now, are on peaceful terms. And they're asking, is it Lyra Irma? Is that the same or is it a different Lyra group?
Yes, Lyra Irma, the ones with the lion heads only, not the other tiger or other ones. It was actually part of what you call the Orion Wars. That's right.
Yes. So thank you, and thank you for your time, and thank you for coming forward and speaking with us. And I will say this on behalf of Starseed as well. From our heart to your hearts, thank you for coming and sharing with us, and thank you for what you're doing to help us.
Thank you for helping humanity and every dimension as a multidimensional being. Much love and peace, ma'am.
Much love and peace to you as well. And if it's all right with you that we bring Starseed back.
Yes. Well,
Welcome back.
Thanks. I did not want to come back from that one. Wow. Thank you. They were very energetic.
Yeah, they were more vocal than last time, so it was kind of nice, actually.
Yeah. So they say they're a different Darty collective than last time. Maybe that's why.
That could be, and it's interesting to see the difference between each of the factions and everything. And I didn't mention this before, but I will mention it now. Is I was looking at the schedule, and next month we actually have 3 channeling sessions.
Wow. We'll see who comes through or comes back. Or different collective, right?
Yes, and thank you again for doing this. And a reminder to everyone, we are moving from 3 p.m. to 2 p.m., so it will be an hour earlier than we have been. So, with that, anything else you want to share with everyone, Starseed, before we go?
I'm just really excited, Michael, to carry on the channeling because our connections as hybrids and Darty and Lyrian and Pleiadian and all that are very strong and deep and, over like 10 that we can cover and get out to the ones that are meant to feel the energy and hear it. So I'm excited to keep coming back.
Well, we're excited every time you do come back, and so I just, I'm blessed for the information that comes through and the insights and wisdom that it brings us, and that, it gives us new ways of looking at things, and that is always a great blessing. And I don't know if you heard, but one of the interesting things was every collective or group that comes through is coming through because we're a part of it. And so that is kind of cool in a way when we think about it, going, oh, so we're connecting with our soul family and able to share that with the audience.
Yeah. Or we wouldn't be able to connect. And it would have to be both of us because you're channeling as well on the fly with relevant questions or comments.
Yes, it is totally different doing this without having advanced knowledge to think what topic can we talk about or share. And so I enjoy it because it makes me think, what is a good question to ask in this moment, with what's going on that we may not normally get to ask. And so it keeps me on my toes.
Yeah. And most of the time you're speaking to the reflection of yourself. Same thing here with Lolo, or one or the other or both, when it's reflecting back to you. And that's how it's telepathically able to deliver it to both of you. That makes sense.
It is. And it does. And so I think, well, thank you, Rainbow Flame, for saying that. I do my best to ask questions that I think not only are relevant, but also that may not ever get asked because we're all so focused on one thing. And I'm like, let's go to the other things and let's, learn about that and really learn about who is coming through instead of what we, can get from them. It's like, no, let's, learn who they are. Let's get to know them.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you made a soul agreement or a soul contract with that version of you as a fractal under the same oversoul. You do not have to be the same species or a humanoid even to be under the same oversoul. So much love to you, much love to the other versions of us, right? And
Right.
the energy is out there in the field for anyone who wants access to it, anyone who is a Starseed collective from it, and they'll know when they hear it if they are.
Yes, and as we stated before, if you are watching the show or watching the replay and you got something out of a specific topic and are looking at the shorts that we make, and if it's not on there, send either Starseed or I a message and we will look at what information you're referring to, and if it's not in a short, we will happily make it into a short and continue to share the knowledge and share everything. And we are just grateful for everyone that's supporting us along this journey, and we do our best to share, great insights and everything. And we don't always post, like, if it's a message between us and we're like, yeah, that was more for us, we may not post it, but we'll post other things. So yeah, if there's ever something you guys want, or questions, if you feel like something's coming up, watch, and if something comes up, put it in the chat room, and if I see it, I'll ask it, and we'll go from there. And I have to agree, Rainbow Flame Wizard, that I like that the Mantis are besties. that was an interesting way that they put it. It was like, yeah, that was a fun moment to hear. And so yeah, so that's what I mean by, I like to ask. I hope I ask stuff that most people won't ask, and be like, who do you get along with? Who do you not get along with?
Yeah, that's right. And if it's something that's not meant to be answered, they'll let you know. And if it is, it's meant to come out at that moment.
Yeah. Well, everyone, we are going to call this one for now. And just know we will be back in 2 weeks, which, as I look at the schedule, actually ends up being the very 1st of September. So we will be back September 1st. Another quick reminder, I know I've said this several times this episode, but we have been doing this for many episodes, so I know it's going to be an adjustment period, but we are switching to 2 p.m., so just keep that in mind. We're going to be an hour earlier.
2 p.m. Central, every other Tuesday.
Yes. Starting today. So
Yeah.
This is our new time slot for until another thing comes up, in which case we will let you know. But plan on for, I would say, safe to say, the rest of the year will be at 2 o'clock Central Time.
Well, until next time, friends.
Yes, blessings to you all.
Bye.
Bye-bye, everyone.